Allah is not done. He says, don't let those who are making a lot of efforts for furthering the cause of disbelief, those who are making so many efforts to destroy Islam, those who are making so many efforts to turn believers into disbelievers, those who are making so many efforts to further kufr on the earth, disbelief and disregard of God on the earth. They make a lot of efforts. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of resources. They have a lot of tools. Don't let all of their efforts ever worry you. لا يحزنك الذين يسارعون في الكفر. This is a principle of the Quran. We have forgotten this principle. Ustad Nouman, have you seen what they're doing on this website? Do you know this video that they made? Do you know what they said on CNN? Do you know what they said on Fox? Why don't you just recite لا يحزنك الذين يسارعون في الكفر? Don't let their efforts and their schemes and their propaganda ever worry you. إنما نملي لهم ليزدادوا إثما. We're only إنهم لن يضروا الله شيئا. I love this part. إنهم لن يضروا الله شيئا. They, no doubt about it, can't harm Allah at all. I'm baffled by this statement. Allah said, don't worry about their schemes and their plans and their plots and their propaganda. They can't harm who at all? They can't harm Allah at all. I'm not worried about them harming Allah. I was actually kind of worried about them harming me. So I was expecting Allah will say, don't worry about their schemes. They won't harm you. But Allah says what instead? Don't worry about their schemes. They can't harm Allah. Why is that? Because Allah is our protection. It's like Allah is our shield, and they can't do anything about this shield. So you're safe, because you're with Allah. You're with Allah. They can't harm Allah. So you have nothing to worry about. لَإِنَّهُمْ لَن يَضُرُّوا اللَّهَ شَيْئًا. Then why is Allah giving them this opportunity to scheme and plot and further their cause and make things more and more difficult for the believers? يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ أَلَّا يَجْعَلَ لَهُمْ حَظًّا فِي الْآخِرَةِ. Allah wants that they get nothing, not even a little bit of the akhirah. Meaning there are people that are evil, and they want to continue to do more evil and undermine and continue the path of injustice and oppression. Allah says, I'd like to let you dig your hole a little deeper, because that little good you have left in you, you don't even deserve it. Let you do your evil. Why are people so evil? Because Allah's punishment to them is He let them have it. You want to go this way? Go ahead. Go ahead. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. They have great punishment standing before them. Instead of being afraid of them, the Quran makes us feel sorry for them. They're digging their own hole. وَلَا يَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا إِنَّمَا نُمْلِي لَهُمْ لِيَزْدَادُوا إِنَّمَا نُمْلِي لَهُمْ خَيْرٌ لِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Don't allow the disbelievers, the enemies of Allah's deen, don't allow the vicious enemies of the Prophet ﷺ to ever think, don't you dare think about them, that the stuff that they do is good for them. The extension Allah has given them is good for them. I'd like to give you an analogy here so it'll help you understand what's happening in this ayah. You have a rabid dog, a crazy dog who goes and bites whatever. And then somebody says, why don't you just put it on a leash? And what Allah does is He puts this dog on, like you could say, 1,000-foot leash. It's a really long leash. The thing is, for 999 feet, this dog thinks that it's running free. Doesn't it? If you put it on a 1-foot leash, it can't move. But if you put it on a 1,000-foot leash, it's going to run around and never feel like a choke. But Allah says, I only extend for them, release them, give them more room. You want to do evil stuff? You want to do kufr stuff? Go ahead, do more. Try to hurt the cause of Islam more. Propagate lies against Allah's Prophet more. Say vicious things about the Quran more. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Because that same dog, when it's running full speed and it hits foot 1,000, what happens to him? He gets choked, doesn't he? And that choke is way harder when he's running full speed than it would have been if it was 1 foot long. That's the plan Allah has for them. Let them dig their hole. Let them choke themselves. إِنَّمَا نُمْلِي لَهُمْ لِيَزْدَادُوا إِثْمًا. We only give them extension so they can earn more sins. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ مُهِينٌ. الْجَزَاءُ مِنْ جِنْسِ الْعَمَلِ كَمَا يُقَالُ. Allah says, and they will have humiliating punishment. Why did Allah say they have humiliating punishment? Allah usually says great punishment, painful punishment, but this time He says humiliating punishment. Why? Because when they try to humiliate the deen of Allah, then the only fair punishment is that they shall face humiliating punishment. Then Allah turns His attention to you and me and says, مَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيَذَرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ عَلَى مَا أَنْتُمْ عَلَيْهِ. Allah is not one to leave you alone in the state that you're in. Allah will not just leave you be and let you just think that you have faith. حَتَّى يَمِيزَ الْخَبِيثَ مِنَ الطَّيِّبِ, until He can separate the good ones among you from the filthy ones. Some of you have filth inside of your hearts, and when the state of fear comes and the pressure comes and the stereotyping comes, some of you will abandon your faith, and that filth in your hearts will take over whatever good you had in it. Allah says He will put you and I through terrible, difficult circumstances so He can separate the filthy from within the ummah and cut them out. May Allah not make any of us from them.